Welcome to the But Also Trail Running Podcast. I'm your host, Celeste Fong. Let me start with a warning that this is an adult-only podcast. There will be profanity and indecent conversations. I would apologize, but I'm not really sorry. Today, I am joined by the one and only Joey Thompson. Say hi, Joey.
Hi.
Joey is one of my favorite people, and we all know I don't like people, so take the compliment.
I will.
All right.
Thank you.
So first, I'm going to just let everyone know how we met. A couple of years ago at Notchview, I was doing the 72-hour, and you were there for the 24. But you had gotten there at the beginning and set up your tent. So you were there pacing and crewing and just being a joy before the race even started. And of course, me being me, I was a sarcastic little shit to you, which I think is how we became friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that. Yes.
So there's a couple things I want to talk about with you. First, just kind of everybody to get to know you and like your history, because I find it very interesting. I always find like how people find running and find motivation and, become who they are. Fascinating. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your background.
So back in like middle school, a long time ago,
Okay, first of all, you're 26, you little shit. It's not that long ago. Go ahead.
I wanted to play on the soccer team, and the coach told me I was too fat to play on the soccer team.
Okay,
but the cross country coaches took me in and honestly like made me feel like I had a family in like the sports scene in school.
Mm-hmm.
I stuck with that. I hated running as a kid, but I knew it was needed for like my health. And then go through like high school playing soccer. In high school, my mom ended up passing away when I was about like 14, 15 years old. And she was someone I really looked up to, loved deeply, like a best friend. And through that, I struggled through like depression, anxiety, just like, dark times. But I found comfort and joy through sports and being active, working out. And then, fast forward a little bit to after college, I ended up gaining weight again, but I wanted to be healthier. So I decided to take the right step forward, start working out again. Ended up losing about 130 pounds through the gym, through running. And through that process, I found the love of pushing myself for, these different goals. If it was, a PR in the bench or hitting a mile time, and then ended up becoming a love of endurance of how far can I push myself? Literally, like, can I go, 50 miles, 75 miles, 100 miles? And through the pain of pushing myself, and I say pain as like the physical pain of hitting the pain cave, the struggle bus, and having to dig yourself out of that, and then hitting that finish line, that feeling I just kept on searching for. So I think my background of having like these dark times within myself has given me the strength to find comfort in those like dark times of running, if you know what I mean.
Yep, absolutely.
So I think my background definitely has a strong part of who I am today, of my goals, my ambitions, and just finding my love of endurance sports.
I mean, first of all, the dedication that it takes to lose 130 pounds, right? Which is a human being. Okay.
Yeah.
That kind of dedication is the same kind of dedication and strength that it takes to do extreme shit like ultra running, right? So yeah, that doesn't surprise me that you find that inner strength and the joy of that completing something, right? When you set your mind to something and you get it, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So was Notchview your first ultra?
Notchview was my first official like race ultra, like where I get a medal at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I ended up I was supposed to be signed up for a marathon that ended up getting canceled, and I was gonna dedicate that marathon for my mom for her birthday because it fell on like the day before.
Okay.
But I still wanted to do something for her in her honor. So when the marathon got canceled, I decided to run a 50K around my hometown, doing like 7-ish mile loops in her honor. And I did that solo with a couple friends coming out to cheer and support, and run a few miles with me. But that was technically my first ultra distance, but Notchview was my first ultra race.
That's pretty like it's moving to dedicate like to do something like that for somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And in a way, it's more special than just going out and doing a race.
Oh, 100%. I think she gives me the strength to keep pushing forward. Like sometimes when I feel like I can't keep going in a race, I just think about her and her struggle through cancer and how she never gave up until, it ended up taking, taking over too bad. But through her battle, I saw courage to keep going and keep fighting, and that, how moms are, they will
Uh-huh.
do anything for their kids. And even through her battle through cancer, she would still try to do whatever she could for me.
Yeah, that's that's sadly beautiful, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
And I do think that like being alone, right? You're going to do this by yourself versus in a race setting, I think is mentally harder, right? Because you don't have the stress or the pressure of finishing, right? Like if you don't finish something you're doing alone, it's not a DNF. It's just that today wasn't a good training day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, when you're in a race setting, you have people, you have support, you have, and yes, friends coming helps, but I think it takes even more strength to just go out and do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Now, knowing you, I do think that you present a very happy, positive vibe, right? Usually you're just full of joy and you're always smiling. You're always giving other people positive reinforcement, you know?
Hmm.
And it's kind of interesting that someone who's so happy is also struggles, which I think is something we as a society need to really acknowledge. I think it's important to talk about, which is kind of another thing that I wanted to touch base with, if you don't mind sharing, because you were saying struggling, and you know, let's get to that in a second. Because let's go back first. I ramble. It's sometimes hard when you know someone's story to not like jump ahead.
Yep.
So let's go back. So Notchview was your first official race ultra.
Yes.
What did you do the first year there? What mileage?
So I was in the 24 hour, and I believe it was like 62 point something miles. So it was like one lap away from the 100K basically.
No, 62 is 100K.
Okay. So then it must have been like 61.8
Okay,
or
just under. Yes. Okay, so
yeah.
you doubled your furthest distance.
Yes.
That's that's impressive. And you had popsicles.
Yes.
Um,
I love musicals.
that, and that was just everything because it was so hot that day. Oh my God. And I think I swore at you, didn't I?
Yeah, because at first I didn't offer you one.
Yeah, you little fucker.
Yeah, I know. I know. I should have known that you wanted a popsicle.
I mean, you had just met me. How did you not know what I wanted?
100%. I know. So bad of me. Bad Joey.
Bad Joey. Okay, so then you came back the following year, this July, and you signed up for the 72 hour.
Yes, I did.
Now you
Yes.
showed
How
up
crazy.
with a little problem. Do you want to share your little problem?
Oh, yeah, the poison ivy that wasn't so big at first, but then turned out to be like massively all over my legs. Yep.
Yeah, you were covered in poison ivy.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And you didn't get it at Notchview. You came with it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So you started off the race uncomfortable.
Very, very much uncomfortable. Yes.
the weather this year, remember, for anyone it was extremely hot, then torrential downpour, and then extremely hot again, right? Which
Yeah.
have irritated that. So what was your mileage this year?
I did the 100.7.
So in that kind of mess, you hit your 100-mile goal.
Yeah. Yep. My A goal was 120 plus, which I felt comfortable with. If I didn't have the poison ivy, I think I would have been able to hit that. But my B goal was get the buckle, get the 100, and that was honestly what I was proud of at the moment, because there was no way I wanted to suffer anymore with that poison ivy out on those trails.
So, I mean, a 100-miler is suffering. I mean, it just is, right? And
Yes.
then add to that, you are suffering without even the running part. So that's impressive. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
That's really. So we came back this weekend and did the Notchview Invitational, which I think there were 40 people there. And you had the option of doing a 50K, a 50-miler, or a 24-hour. And we did the 24-hour together. I hope you know that I have blamed you for what happened there. I think it was between you, Marcus, and Taylor. That's who I'm blaming. And Greg. Yeah. Because I went with my intention was to do a half marathon. I accidentally did 40 miles with you.
Yeah. But
So
there were 40 beautiful miles, Celeste, you know?
actually, it was a really, really good time. Old school, fat ass style where you had to mark down, your laps as you were doing. It was a beautiful experience, which kind of then brings us back to the whole mental health and struggling. If you don't mind sharing what you've been going through since Notchview in July.
So after Nachu, I, was taking a little bit of a rest period, and I honestly lost the love of running. Like, I don't know if it was really that I hit my goal and I just felt comfortable, or if it was just, I don't know. Like, I really didn't want to go out and run or go to the gym and lift. I just fell back into a stage of just thinking I was regressing in life because I s- stopped feeling that drive to keep pushing. And 2 weeks turned into three, three turned into four, and so on and so on. And just over time, I just started getting I don't want to say worse and worse, but the the drive just never showed back up, which kind of started messing with my head. Like, I wanted to go back out there, but I couldn't take that first step forward to get back out there. I was in my own head thinking that I was back to when I was my heaviest and I wasn't going to be good enough, or could I actually do this race because I've stopped showing up for myself. And a few weeks before the invitational, I was actually going to just drop from the invitational because I thought I can't go out there and move for 24 hours. I haven't done anything since Notchview, basically, which really hurt because running has become a very big part of my life. And l- losing interest or feeling burnt out from that, I felt like I lost a part of myself to something else. And that struggle really, really hurt me just internally. And I was going to drop out, and I decided to talk to actually Daria about not doing it at the Tark Fall Classic that she ran. And she was the one that was like, no, if you can do it, do it. If you can do it, do it. And I think her just telling me to actually be there and show up made me realize maybe I should just do it. And I came in with no intentions other than just finding myself again. My anxiety has been through the roof. My depression started to come back, I think, because I lost that love of running and pushing myself. And so I showed up just to find myself again out there. And remember who I was and who I am and why I do this. And I think this weekend was a weekend that saved me because I came out a different person from it, even though I didn't do the most miles, but the race did what it had to do for me, which was find that love again of going out into the trails and pushing my limits, getting up at 2 a.m. to do another lap and when I don't want to. And that weekend was something I really, really needed. And I have to say thank you for not only listening to me on a lot of those miles, but talking to me and helping push me and keep me going because I think without you, Ryan, and some other people there, I don't think I would have been able to pull myself out of that chair to keep going and keep moving forward.
First of all, thank you, because sharing your story with me and, sharing the miles, like, that's special. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's an honor to be able to share like miles like that. And I will say, from an outside observer, your whole demeanor changed over that race. It really did. Like, from the beginning to the end, it was night and day. I could actually see you finding the joy again. Do you think part of it, now, we discussed some of it, like with the poison ivy, some of the medications you were on can negatively affect, prednisone, steroids, they're fucking awful. But then I was just, as I was listening to you, thought about the big, you train and train and train for a big race and you work hard and you've got this huge race and you go and it's like this big accomplishment and there's like this high when you are done, right? When you cross that finish line, when you got that belt buckle, it's like so high, right?
Hmm.
And then you feel so good. You go home and everything's amazing. And it's almost like a crash, right? Like,
Yeah.
after a race like that, it is very, very common to have a crash. You're in recovery from getting over it. So you're sore, you're tired, you lack the motivation, like you said, and it's very easy to snowball backwards. So do you think part of it was from that?
I think so. Even though I have Sedona Canyons on the schedule that I had, like, should have kept up my training for better. Like to me, I was like, that's in May. I can take a few weeks off, and then within those few weeks, turned into and what ended up being about a couple months of just struggling to find that energy again to go out there and push. So I think it could have been that high of hitting my goal of 100 miles and doing the most I've ever done, and then like boom, nothing. And I think it was part of that was the crash.
I find after a race that, like, you're somewhere like Notchview. And Notchview is one of the best families in the world, right? Like, it's a family. And you're in that community, you're surrounded by it. You're watching people just accomplish greatness. You're watching struggles and comebacks, and you're just part of something so beautiful and wondrous. And then you go home, and, like, for me personally, I just miss it. Like, a couple weeks later, I'm like, well, fuck, I don't get to do this again for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, So I do think that what you're feeling and what I do think it's very, very common. I don't, I think it's important. And one of the reasons I had seen your post on Facebook. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you come on and share this is because I think it's something important that we talk about, that you're not alone in this kind of situation. I think it is very common. And I think that if we're all honest with each other and support each other, we can help each other get through shit like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think in the like running space and athlete space, I don't think mental health is brought up enough in how running, working out can, help with your mental health. But as soon as you stop doing that, how much your mental health can kind of the issues you've been dealing with can kind of resurface. And I think we, as a community, we should open up a little bit more to each other because, like I did with you on the trails, like
Mhm.
we all go through things and we shouldn't have to hold on to those things by ourselves. And I am all ears for people who want to open up on the trails. And sometimes I have to realize that I sometimes can't always be the cheerleader. Sometimes I also need a cheerleader
Correct.
and an ear to listen to. And that's one thing I have to work on, is being more open and honest with myself about how I'm feeling. But I think opening up really helps kind of bring things to the surface and allow other people to help you through it too.
All right, let me ask you a question here. Now, we have an age difference. You're 26, right?
Yep.
And I'm going to be 50. Well, when I release this, I'll be 50 because it's next week. But I'm hoping that things are changing. But do you think part of the reason that we don't discuss mental health issues and stuff in sports is because of the whole toxic masculinity thing? And I mean, do you think it's worse for men in this particular aspect? Or do you think that's changing?
I think mental health altogether is changing. I think it's tough for athletes to express it, especially in today's day and age when you have the influencers and people who, like, you online, you see all these runners having the perfect life. And I say that in air quotes because you don't see their struggles. So when you see that, but you're feeling like you're struggling, you feel like you're alone. So it's tough to bring it forward. I think in today's world, I think it's getting a little bit better. I don't know if it's technically worse for men, but I do know, like, I mean, I'm included. I don't like the feeling of being vulnerable sometimes.
Okay.
I think that just opens me up to the traumas I've felt in the past. And I'm sometimes a little nervous to open up those can of worms because, like, it might bring back previous emotions that I've thought I've dealt with that I haven't really dealt with, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think as a whole, like males and females, I think if we do a little bit better of a job of being open to have those conversations and communicate about our feelings, it might be better for everybody in the long run rather than just holding it in.
Yeah. So for me, when I had severe postpartum depression, and honestly, it was like eating me up. And I had a friend, another mom, say to me like, "Oh yeah, I had postpartum depression and blah blah blah." And she opened up, and I'm like, "Oh." Like, it wasn't even on my radar that could be what was happening to me, but her expressing that helped me figure out what the fuck was going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
And that memory of that happening again was one of the reasons why I reached out to you, and I was like, "Can you share this?" Because like you said, and I didn't even think of it, and I think that might be part of the age thing, but social media and that whole like fakeness in a way where a lot of influencers, like you said, or even just in general, people will share online. It's, look at my perfect life. Everything is wonderful. Everything is perfect. And in actuality, it's not. Now, I'm not a huge, like when I get on social media, it's mostly, hey, look at my dogs. Hey, I ran a race. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sharing anything really like that on social media, but not because I just, for what I enjoy on it, that's what I share, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not judging anyone else. It's just how I handle things. But I do think that's an excellent point that you've made, that a lot of fitness, especially anybody, but the the message on social media is that everything has to be perfect. And it's not. And even when life is wonderful, there's still struggles. And I think that we don't always know, we assume, but we don't know what's going on in someone else's life, right? Like, and I think you are a great example of that because you're such a positive cheerleader so often. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like the fact that you do have struggles, which everybody does, and the willingness to share that, I think will help people face their own struggles, whether it's, you know, depression, anxiety. I think that in sports too, a lot of like eating disorders are a big thing. Injury. We ignore injury, right? Be tough.
Yeah.
Ignore your injury. And all those, they're important topics to discuss. And I'm not talking, when you're doing ultras, obviously you're in pain, you push through pain. I'm talking actual injury, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this weekend, from the start to the end, you were a different person. And I think part of that came from the fact that you were willing to share yourself and to be vulnerable. I think that's a huge show of strength.
I agree. Like, I think opening up to you, to Taylor, to my friend Ryan, like out on the trails, it felt easier to do it because it was in a space that was like nature. You're by yourself basically. I'm doing something that I enjoy doing with people that I enjoy doing it with, and it just felt easy for me to open up to you guys and kind of be vulnerable because I felt like I wasn't backed up to a corner just talking one on one to somebody in a room. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like
absolutely.
it 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 allowed me to feel comfortable to, shed that cover and spill the beans and open up. And I was lap 2, I was already pretty much about to cry because I felt like I was stuck in life and with everything that was going on with work, the fire department, relationships, just like friendships, family, and then losing the love of running. Like lap 2, I was already just like, what the hell am I doing? Like I I can't be here. I can't be doing this. And then I started talking to you, and I think I was like 6 hours in, my hype song came on, and like I got the chills, and I started actually like running, and I did like 3 laps where I was actually running, and I was like, damn, I got some speed still.
That
and
that is fucking beautiful. Oh,
and
wait, wait,
that's
wait for it. You became an animal?
yes, the animal I had become was my hype song,
I listened to that
and
today. God,
I I had that on repeat for literally like an hour to an hour and a half, just same song over and over and over
I
again.
love that.
And I got the chills, and at that moment I knew that this is what I had to do, and this is who I am, and I started to find that drive again and that love for it again. And it just felt beautiful. Like I felt it come back, which was amazing.
That is, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that, that our community, right? The people that we associate with and, are friends with, I think that the complete acceptance of each other, right? Because it's just such a diverse group, but it's just pure acceptance of everybody, no matter what it is. There's so many people. I had somebody tell me that they were like, "Oh, I don't know if you know this about me. I've been in recovery for blah, blah, blah years." And it was like, I had no idea, but they were willing to be, you know, open and honest about it. And, you know, I think I said, I think it was, or maybe I was talking to Greg where I said, you never know what you're going to say or do that someone else is going to hear or see that will help them, right?
Hmm.
You never know who's listening or watching, and when they see or hear something, it's going to change their life. And I had somebody one time, I post, I'm just silly all the time, and he says, a friend from high school, he goes, I started running watching all this because of all the shit you get into. Like I got healthy, lost it, and I'm like, I didn't even know you were seeing any of these posts. You never know who needs to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So what is coming up for you? Now we've started to find our love of running again, right? So what's next?
So then I have a marathon coming up in October. It'll be marathon number 10 in 2 years, like races, not just like I don't include ultras in that number. It's like strictly marathon races.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first marathon I've ever done. So 2 years later, I want to do it again and have it be number 10. But then after that, it's basically all hell breaks loose for training on Sedona Canyons 125, which is in May.
That sounds like
Um,
hell, just so you know.
yeah, It's going to be, but I'm excited for it. I'm running it in honor of the Boston Bulldogs. They're a charity organization out of Boston that helps individuals going through addiction recovery, find them resources, basically give them a community through fitness to stay sober. That group hits home for me. I have some friends that run in the Bulldogs, but mainly this July, right after Notchview, I hit 3 years sober from alcohol.
That's beautiful.
And
Congratulations.
thank you. So having an organization so close to home and that I have friends in the group made it special to want to choose them as a charity organization to raise money for and do the race in honor for, because that's one thing that is a big part of my life is getting rid of alcohol. And I think that's also why I'm still trying to learn to cope with emotions differently, because I used to use alcohol for coping, but now I don't. And I think running has become that coping mechanism for me.
Mm-hmm.
So in May will be Sedona 125, and I'm excited. I cannot wait to get out to Arizona and feel the heat and feel the cold at night, but struggle through the whole thing, but love it.
That's good. Can you send me a link for the charity for
I
your
will.
fundraiser? I will share that.
Yes,
Um,
thank you. Will.
oh, no problem. That's exciting though. I'm going to Arizona next week, so I'm not doing 135 miles though. Uh, so you're gonna,
Yeah,
when is it? May?
yeah. It's May. So Cocodona starts, I believe, the 3rd or 4th to the 9th, and Sedona is the 6th to the 9th, I believe.
Okay. That's exciting.
Yes, I've honestly never traveled that far west, and I haven't really. I think the furthest I've traveled for a race so far has been Philadelphia. So no, well, Chicago technically.
Oh,
So
okay.
this will be far away.
Yeah. You're gonna have to take a lot of logistics go into something like that, right? That we don't think
Yeah,
about when we travel.
yeah,
Because
like the
are you gonna
hotel.
fly?
Yeah, I have. That's the one thing I haven't purchased yet is the flights. I'm waiting to see if they go up or down and all that fun stuff. But I have the Airbnb before because I'm going to be starting in a different place than I'm finishing. So I had to find a place for Jerome, and I had to find a place for Flagstaff, and I got to figure out the rental car and the flight and how to ship all my gear over there. So there's a lot. I didn't think about there's going to be this much, but there is a lot.
Yeah. Not to mention the hours of training you're gonna have to put in, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because that kind of race, a point to point like that, is a lot different than a staged time race. Just the logistics of it are different, and the running of it is different.
Yeah. I think between aid stations is about 15-ish miles or so. So I basically have to carry everything with me for a half marathon or more. And there's like required gear for nighttime,
Hmm.
like pants, jacket, one of those like insulated blanket, like the safety blankets.
Yeah, the emergency
Um,
blankets.
yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that's like required that I also have to think about. And when I have like discussions with my crew, things I have to make sure that I have for when I go out. So there's a lot of things. I think like the athlete handbook is like 30 pages or something. It's crazy.
That's insane. But I'm proud of you. I mean, this is a huge step. Like, it's a
It's
huge.
it's one of my goals. It's on the road to hopefully one day do Cocodona. So this step is for me huge.
It really is. But you're strong, you're dedicated, and you're willing to put in the work. And I always say, for me personally, I think the training is more impressive than the actual race. Everybody always looks at what you did on race day. And to me, what you do to get to race day is harder, right?
100%. I
The,
agree.
the day in, the day out, the bad runs, the good runs, the whatever you have to do to do it, the diet, the, sleepless nights when you're doing overnight training, the giving up of doing activities because you have a training run, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles you have to put in to get to a point to do something like 135 miles. And I'm not saying running 135 miles obviously is it's impressive. But I remember like people would always go, "Oh, yeah, I signed up for marathon. I didn't train." Not impressive to me. To just go out there and do it. It's like, okay. But the work and the dedication ahead of time, I always find more impressive.
Yeah, it takes training. I agree. Takes a lot more effort than the actual race because it's over months and months and months versus the race is, technically 3 days, but 1 to 3 days, which you can be dedicated for 1 or 3 days, but if you're not dedicated for months and months and months, that race won't go to plan or go at all. So I agree that the training is where I think the impressiveness comes.
Yeah, that's when you see the real athlete. You always watch if you listen to or watch or anything sports related, and you see like these people accomplish stuff, and it's easy to just watch and be like, "Oh yeah, that was impressive." But if you stop and think about what they had to do to get there, the early mornings or whatever the situation is, I just find that really impressive. My friend Liz, I think, is the best for training. Like she has a training plan that her coach gives her, and I've never seen anyone follow a plan like that girl.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so impressive. She's like, "Yeah, I got 2 hours tomorrow." That bitch goes and does 2 hours. I'm like, "No, I feel like playing in the woods tomorrow." It's impressive.
Yeah. I have a plan, but I do not really stick to it 100%. I'm bad at that.
You know what I'm bad at? After I accomplish something, like the first time I did my first 100, I followed a training plan. I was so dedicated to it. I was so determined to do that 100. I did the 100, and ever since then, I'm not saying I don't train. I don't follow a plan anymore. Like I obviously get out there, but I don't follow a plan anymore. I'm always like, I'm going to really train hard and I'm going to follow this plan. And then I'm like, who wants to run, home from Land Rover tomorrow? Because that sounds like a good idea. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, and that's not something to be proud of, okay? But I should. Maybe what I'll do is I'll train for the cut, and you could train at the same time, and I'll do the cut while you're doing Sedona, and we'll just hold each other accountable.
Yeah. I like that idea.
Won't that be great?
Yeah. I'd be like, "Hey, Celeste, you're supposed to do a half marathon, not 40 miles."
Okay, listen. In my defense, I was having fun.
Oh, it was so fun this weekend.
But I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit down. I'll sit down and I'll put my feet up, and then someone will go by and be like, Celeste, come do a lap. And I'm like, fuck yeah.
And then you'd be like, "Joey, you're doing a lap. Come with me."
For real. And then you're like, I'm going to sit down. I'm like, or hear me out. Let's go.
Yeah. And I'd be like, "Okay."
Well, and then once you said I'm sitting down, it was really funny. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to my car, because if I stay here, I'm going to keep going. And I really didn't want to I really, really was going to only do that half marathon. So I went to my car, and I'm in the car reading, and my phone rings, and it's like, I don't know, 1:32 in the morning. And it was fucking Mike Martineau and Ryan Hanna. And they were doing a last man standing. And they call me and they're like, what are you doing? Reading in your car? I'm like, fuck you. They knew. They knew. And we just laughed and were stupid for like a half an hour. I talked to those guys. Ryan, so Mike didn't have the day he wanted, but he still went out there and did an ultra, and I'm super proud of him. And Ryan came in like 6th place. I don't know what place Mike came in, but Ryan came in 6th place, and he did an amazing job. I forgot what he did, like 70, 80 miles or something like that. So
Wow.
sweet
Wow.
baby angel, kicked ass.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm proud of him. But I digress. Yeah. So this weekend was beautiful. We had some really great conversations. We were talking about, so there was like 40 people there. Okay. And it was by invite, and there were different qualifications to get there. But on average, almost every single person there has done at least 500 miles at Notchview. If not, like Anne's done 1,000. So we were trying to guess how many thousands of miles accumulatively everyone, like the lifetime miles everyone there had. And we're guessing it's over 20,000 miles. For the 40 people that were there have done over 20,000 miles. And Ben hasn't confirmed it yet, but I know I'm right. And that means over 10,000 loops those 40 people had done. And it's more than that, but over 10,000 loops. Think about that for a minute.
That's a lot of loops. I don't want to do 53 loops.
Right? Right? When you think about 53 loops is a 100-miler there. Right?
Yeah.
10,000 loops. How many miles is like around the world? I don't know. Don't ask me hard questions.
I have no idea.
I should have Googled it. But it's definitely across, the United States a few times. Right? From here to Florida is what? 1,200 miles?
Yeah, I think it's like to do a transcon, I think it has to be about 3,000, I think.
I think you're
But
right.
I think I'm not 100% sure though, but I think it's 3,000.
So the people that were there have gone across the United States over 7 times, or about 7 times, or something like that.
That's wild.
Isn't that a fun, thought, though?
We're some badasses, you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, how cool is it that we get to spend time with these fucking people and have these conversations, right? I mean, we had conversations about so many things, like deep things about, depression, anxiety, struggling with addiction. And not just me and you, I'm talking in general, people having conversations there this weekend. And then we were talking about movies and TV shows. Ryan and I had a great conversation about Monk, because that was a great show. And then we were talking about werewolf sex. And that right there is all you need to know about ultra running.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that was special. That was
You know what though? It is. It really, we joke around, but it really is. Like Art says, it can be more than what, he always takes my but also and makes it really deep. You're struggling, but also you're having fun. And that's so true.
Yeah.
And I think this weekend was also special because there wasn't any stress. There wasn't pressure. It wasn't, you have to do X amount of miles, or you have to, well, obviously the idiots that signed up for the 50K or the 50-miler had to do those distances. But, I support their bad life choices. Scott was flying.
Yeah, he was.
Holy shit. He was just like, oh, Hechu, I'm done with a 50-miler. And I'm like, okay, have a great day. It was fun watching him go and not having to push myself. But again, like you said, I think sometimes we need that reboot. I think all of us do.
Yeah, I think so too. This race, I think, was the best race for it because you said there's no stress. Just go out there and have fun.
Yeah, with an amazing group. And so I while I was there, I had microphones and I did some interviews and stuff. I deleted some by accident. I hit pause and lost some. But Anna was telling me the whole history of Berks and everything. And she's actually going to hop on with me because I deleted that by accident and tell us the whole history. So there's going to be an episode with all the interviews and the history of Berks and of Notchview, because it's a cool history. It's a cool story and it's a cool group. And everything for them is charity. So much gets donated to charity with them, which is amazing.
Yeah. Berks is awesome. Berks is the best.
Yeah. I mean, we're a little biased, except that we're right.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go, is there anything else you would like to share with anybody? Like any inspirational shit you want to tell us, or funny story you would like to share?
Oh man, I think inspirational, maybe, I don't know, but just it's okay to feel like you're burnt out, like what I felt like, but just don't lose yourself in the process and get back out there, do what you love, enjoy the people you do it with. And if you're feeling like you're burnt out, sign up for a race, say fuck it, show up anyway, and just do what you can and do your best. And I think just enjoy life and don't put too much stress on yourself and show up for yourself, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And expand a tiny bit. Give yourself grace. You're not alone in your feelings, and reach out. Reach out, because this fucking community will be there for you. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
anybody that's struggling, you reach out, whether it's, someone that you're close with that will understand, whether it's just, there's so many people in this community that has gone through that and will support you through it, I think. What do you think?
I agree. I am all ears for anybody out on the trails or through text or phone call. We all go through something, and that's why we are endurance athletes. So we all can kind of understand and help guide each other.
Agreed, 100%. I would like to thank you for, first of all, at the race, trusting me to share yourself with me. That was an honor, and I appreciate it. And I want to thank you for coming on and being open and honest, because again, we all struggle. And if anybody tells you differently, they're lying. I'm not saying everybody's struggling all the time, but we all go through struggles. It's part of the human condition. And I think we need to share about that and be honest about it. So thank you for sharing that with everybody. I hope it helps somebody out there that needs to hear it.
I agree. I hope it helps somebody, and thank you for having me. This has been a blast and a pleasure to be on here. Thank you.
Well, please know that you will be coming on again, because I absolutely adore you. And I can't wait to fucking hear like everything. And I'm going to hold you accountable for your training. Oh, sucker.
I need it though. I need that so bad.
Yeah. And I think that you need to keep active right now. I think that, now that you have it, you should stay active. Your training plan doesn't necessarily have to start yet. You have till May. So I think, the first of the year will be a good time to start following a plan. But I do think we all need to stay active until then. I also have hamster wheel in a month. So I don't have a choice.
No, you don't.
No. And I'm going to Arizona next week. So I have that too. And Utah, both.